Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Monday conversation with Father Pat here at SSJ at Home. It is the second Sunday of Advent, the Monday of the second Sunday of Advent. Father Pat, thanks for joining us. Let's talk a little bit about your article in Sunday's bulletin with regard to the topic of papal infallibility, which is confusing to a lot of people.
It really is, the infallibility. It's not that the Pope can get up and just say something one morning and, well, okay, that's got to be true. That's not what infallibility is talking about. But what it is talking about is our belief that the Holy Spirit guides the church and guides the church particularly in beliefs that are important to our faith, that are important to where we're going. And we've always believed that. And so when the Pope, especially when he's working along in collaboration with the other bishops, when he proclaims something definitively that's essential to our faith, he can declare that it is. We believe that it is infallible, that it's been guided by the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit won't allow that to be wrong. The Pope has only declared two things infallible ex cathedra. That's from the chair. Cathedra is the word for the chair. That's where we get the word for cathedral. The important thing in the cathedral is the cathedra, the chair from which the bishop speaks from, and the Pope speaks from the chair. And when he speaks from the chair definitively, we believe that's infallible. He's only used that twice. One is for what we're celebrating here now, the Feast of the Immaculate Conception. The other one is the dogma on the Assumption of Mary. Most of the time when the Pope speaks infallibly, he'll do it in an encyclical or in a writing that he's done in collaboration with the other bishops, and he'll make a point to say this is something you have to definitively hold within your faith. In my article, I talked about different levels of holding things. Most of what the Pope writes, even a lot of the things that he writes in the encyclical are teachings, right? Teachings of faith and morals. And, we don't have to hold them infallibly. It's not up to that degree. And a theologian can question those points and get into dialogue on those points. Pope Francis loves to create dialogue. And so he loves to make statements that can and should be debated. And he wants that debate. But we have to be respectful about how we do that debate, that even those statements we believe have been guided by the Holy Spirit. Pope Francis was duly elected. One of the things that we do hold infallibly is the selection of the Pope, is that's guided by the Holy Spirit, that when a Pope is duly elected, that he's guided by the Holy Spirit. And so there needs to be respect for that teaching that sometimes I even question, a lot of times here lately, I question kind of some of the things that Pope Francis does. And I think to a certain extent, he wants us to be questioning that. To a certain extent, he says things that are provocative. He says things to get us thinking about it. But, when you look back on what he's said definitively, I mean, there really isn't anything that he said definitively. Most of the questions that people have are where he said things a little bit more ambiguously, led a little bit more gray. The things he's changed have been more procedural kind of things, like streamlining the process for getting an annulment and, working for that. But he didn't change, whether someone who's married outside of the church and remarried can receive communion, or on dogmas like that, and on parts of our faith. And so we have to enter into that dialogue with Pope Francis in a very respectful way, recognizing his desire to create this dialogue in the church. Mm-hmm.
these statements of infallible statements that are made. They're not a matter of the Pope waking up one morning and saying, I think I'll declare a day for the Immaculate Conception. The amount of thought, I guess, and preparation into making such a statement must be quite elaborate and quite complicated.
Yeah, well, so there's only two that he's made independently, right? The others he's made in collaboration with the other bishops, right? And so there's been a lot of dialogue. There is a lot of dialogue on the topic before he makes any kind of statement, right? So an example of a statement is when John Paul II came out with a more definitive statement about ordination being only for men, priestly ordination being only for men. He made that statement definitively. Some people still even debate how definitively he made that statement, and that's fine. But he made that only after long consultation with the other bishops and based on long-standing traditions of the church, right? I mean, that's always been there in historical review of the historical documents. So it's not a statement that he just woke up today and said, "Oh yeah, I think only men should be priests. I'm going to declare that infallibly." He a lot of history, a lot of research, and he just says, yes, this is a definitive statement, that this is something we've held in as our belief, and we do believe that it's been guided by the Holy Spirit, and thus it's infallible. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and as a reminder, Father, the Feast of the Immaculate Conception tomorrow, we have a Vigil Mass tonight, right?
Vigil Mass tonight at 7, confessions before and after the Mass, confessions starting at 6. We'll also have confessions after the Mass. Then tomorrow we'll have Mass at 9, noon, and 7 o'clock. So, please join us for those Masses. Mm-hmm.
Any live stream Mass on any of these?
The 7 o'clock Mass tomorrow night will be live streamed.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We have had that question, so that's good to know. So, okay, Father, thank you for your time this morning. We'll see you this week.
All right. Thank you. Bye.